Today we're going to give our wrists and ankles a little bit of extra TLC. So we're going to start by doing some cars on the scapula, elbows, and wrists just to warm up the upper body. So you can come into a tall kneel, you can sit in a chair, or you can do this standing. We're going to glue those hands to the sides of the thighs, stand up nice and tall, and for scapula cars, coming into protraction, shoulders forward. Shrug up, squeeze back, and pull down. Forward, up, back, down. Biggest circle you can make. Forward, up, back, down, and now reversing. Squeeze back, shrug up, forward, and down. Try to smooth out that circle. Your head is staying on top of your spine. You're not jutting that chin forward or flaring the ribs forward. Good. Relax those shoulders. Moving on to the elbows. We are going to open up those hands, reaching through the fingertips and rotating those elbows into supination. We're going to come into flexion, squeezing up, bicep curl. Pronate, rotating at the elbow, palms face the floor, and extend. Open up, squeezing up, roll it in, and straighten the arms out. One more. Palms face the floor, and now you're going to stay here. Let's reverse. So you're going to come up into flexion. We're going to supinate, opening palms up towards the ceiling, extend at the elbows, and now pronating, palms face down. Again, squeeze up, open, extend, and close in. Last one. Make sure you're not moving at the wrist. Really want this to come from the elbows. Good. Shake it out. And lastly, we have our wrist cars. So now we're going to bend the elbows to 90 degrees. We want that forearm facing the ceiling the whole time. So imagine if you had a teacup sitting here. You do not want to spill that tea. We're going to open the hands and we're going to dive those fingers in toward one another. We're going to extend at the wrist. We're going to bring those thumbs out to the sides and then flex. Try not to curl your fingers here. Again, in, down, out, up, in, down, out, up. And now we're going to reverse the direction. You can look down at your forearms, make sure they haven't moved. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Last one, down, in, and up. Good. Okay, we're going to be in a kneeling position for our wrist extension. If this position is uncomfortable for you, you can come into a 4-point position, or you can grab your yoga block and place it underneath your hips here to provide you a little bit more support. If this position still doesn't work for you, then you can rest your hands on a chair and just bend your knees and be in a hip hinge position instead. So we're going to come down and we're going to bring our shoulders into external rotation. So external rotation is with fingertips rotating out to the sides, and we're going to show our elbow pits forward. So from here, we're going to place the hands flat on the floor. Now, if this position is not accessible to you, you can come into as much external rotation as you have. So possibly the fingertips will be out towards the side walls, or they might be all the way back. You might even be able to rotate a little bit more than that. But the most important thing is that your palm stays flat to the floor and that you're able to extend your fingers here. We want the entire surface of your hand to be in firm contact with the floor. Back up a little here. Okay, so we are in external rotation. We're going to pull the shoulders down away from the ears, and then we're just going to start to sit our weight back. until we feel we can get a stretch here in the forearm. If you feel pain in the top of your wrist in this position, that is closing angle joint pain, and you do not want to push yourself through this exercise. So we would need to troubleshoot that if that's what you're experiencing. So if you're here, your elbows are straight, your shoulders are pulled down away from the ears, and you should be feeling a pretty good stretch there, maybe through the hand, through the fingers, through the inside of the forearm. And you're just relaxing your nervous system. 90 seconds to 2 minutes, we hold this passive stretch. And while you're holding this passive stretch, I'm going to talk you through what your pails and rails are going to be, but don't do them yet. Just continue to stay here, breathing and relaxing. So when it's time to ramp up for your pails contraction, you are going to push your fingers and your palms like you want to push them through the floor. So if the floor wasn't there, you would be pushing in this direction. That's your pails contraction. You're going to take 5 to 7 seconds to work up to your greatest, safest effort. Pushing, pushing, pushing. And then when I say 3, 2, 1, rails, as quickly as you can, you're going to try to flip that switch and work the muscles on the back of the forearm and the back of the hand. Imagine you're trying to pull the top of your hand closer to your forearm, away from the floor. Okay, and we're going to hold that for about 10 seconds. You're going to slowly relax the tension, but don't back out of the stretch. If anything, you might be able to sit your hips back a little bit deeper. So let's get ready now for our first pails contraction. We're going to start to push the fingertips and the palms into the floor. Ramp up that intensity slowly. Start at 10%, 20%, dial that knob up, 30, 40, 50, get up to your greatest, safest effort. You might be shaking here. If you're not, I don't know if you're doing it right, so really push and hold. 10 seconds, pushing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rails. Try to pull the tops of your hands and your fingertips off the floor. Get light, light, light on the floor, but don't back out of the stretch. Hold for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension through your arms. Don't back out of that stretch. See if maybe you can sit back a little bit deeper. And find your breath here. We're going to do one more set of our pails and rails in this position. Again, making sure that that entire palm is in contact with the floor. Keep those fingers stretched out. Don't let them curl off the floor. And make sure your shoulders are not shrugged up by your ears. So we did some of those cars at the beginning of class so you can feel for pulling the shoulders down, getting long through the back of your neck. No tension here through the neck or upper back. This is great if you sit at a computer, if you type a lot, if you use your phone a lot, if you have a lot of wrist problems or tension in your forearms and hands and fingers. And let's do our second set of pails. Okay, so we're going to irradiate here and start to push. Palms and fingers into the floor. Ramping up that intensity. Get up to your greatest, safest effort here. Push and hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, pull. Try to lift those fingers, lift the tops of the hands off the floor. Pulling, pulling, pulling. You are using the muscles on the opposite side, the top of your forearm to pull. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension. Good work. And slowly bring your weight forward. Come out nice and easy. Your wrists and hands might feel like noodles. Shake it out gently if you need to. Woo, that is a lot of very intense work for the wrists. So we're going to lay off of the wrists now, and we are going to move on to the lower body. namely the ankles. We're going to work on ankle dorsiflexion today. So we're going to start with some knee cars and some ankle cars to warm up the area. You can come to a full seat, and again, if this position on the floor is not comfortable for you or not accessible, you can have a seat in a chair and just work this the exact same way. So we're going to extend one leg straight out. You're going to take your hands and grab onto your thigh of your bent knee here. And we're just going to make sure that this leg stays in place. We don't want any rotation of that femur bone or that thigh bone. So you're going to flex your toes back, and we are going to do some knee cars. So this tibia here, this shin bone, that is the bone that you want to see rotating out into external rotation and rotating inward into internal rotation. We're going to dorsiflex the foot back to lock the ankle in place. And let's come into external rotation. We're going to extend at the knee, so straighten about 3/4 of the way of how much you can straighten that leg all the way. Coming into internal rotation, watch that shin bone rotate in and then come back into flexion. You can bring your heel back down to the floor. 2 more. External rotation, extend, internal rotation, and flex. Rotate out, straighten, rotate in, and flex. Stay there. We're going to reverse. Extend, externally rotate, and flex. Watch that shin bone. Try to get the rotation coming from there as opposed to just the foot and ankle moving. Last one. Extend, external rotation, and flex. Good. Shake that out. We're going to switch. Grab a hold of that thigh. Flex those toes back, and let's come into external rotation. Extend the leg, internal rotation, and flex. Out, extend, in, and flex. Out, extend, in, and flex. Stay there. Staying in internal rotation, we extend. We come into external rotation, watch that shin bone rotate out, and flex. Internally rotate, try to pivot on that heel, extend, and flex. Last time, rotate that knee in, straighten, rotate out, and flex. Good work. Okay, we're going to come back to the first leg now for our ankle cars. So bend that knee. Thread that arm underneath. You're going to grab a hold of the opposite forearm, and that other hand is going to come onto the shin. So we're going to lock ourselves here in this position. You're going to hug that thigh into the chest. If this is not accessible to you, take the previous grip of just holding that thigh. And we are going to work just the ankle here. So nice big breath in. Let's irradiate, and we're going to bring the toes in, down, out, and up. In, down, out, up. In, down, out, up, and reverse the direction. No movement in the shin this time. We want the biggest circles you can make with just the ankle. So we go out, down, in, and up. Good work. Switch it up. Bend the opposite knee, thread that arm underneath, grab a hold of the opposite forearm. Hand comes to the shin, hug that leg in, big breath in. And those toes come in, down, out, up, snap, crackle, pop, in, down, out, up. Biggest circle you can make with your toes. Try to smooth out that circle. And reverse. Toes go out, down, in, up. Slow and steady when it comes to our cars. Notice where you want to skip or move really quickly. That's an indication that that might be an area you want to focus an extra attention on. Good. Okay, knees and ankles are warmed up with our cars. Now we are going to get into a position here where we are sitting back on one heel and we've got the other foot forward. Actually, I'm going to move myself back. Okay, so we are working with this front ankle here in dorsiflexion. So from this seated position, you're gonna use your torso leaning against your thigh to find a stretch. So hands come to the floor, usually externally rotated. I like to be on my fingertips here. And then just rock forward, make sure your heel stays down on the floor until you feel a stretch in the back of that ankle or in that calf. I'm gonna turn to the side. Now everybody's mobility is different. I have a lot of ankle dorsiflexion, so don't feel like you have to match where I'm at in my forward lean. It really depends on the person. Just find the stretch wherever you are. That's perfectly good. With mobility, we want to make sure we're working within our own capacity and not trying to look at how someone else looks when they're doing it. So really just go by feeling. If the kneeling position is not accessible to you for ankle dorsiflexion, then you can use a chair or a stool and step your foot onto the chair and then lean forward until you feel that stretch in the back of the ankle or the back of the calf. If you don't have a chair with a back or it's not comfortable to lean forward, you can use a dowel rod or two and support yourself here as you hold the passive stretch. Okay, so you've been hanging out here in your passive stretch for a little while. Heel is glued to the floor, and while you are enjoying this passive stretch, I'm going to talk you through your pails and rails. So pails from this position, we don't want to let off, remember? We want to stay in that stretch. You are going to gas pedal your foot into the floor. So imagine if you could push your foot through the floor, coming into this position, a pointed toe. But you're not going to be able to move because the floor is blocking you from doing that. So your pails, pushing foot down into the floor, foot and toes. Your rails, try to pick the top of your foot up and your toes closer to your shin. So you're going to feel all those muscles in the front of the shin, the top of the foot really lighting up during your rails contraction, okay? So we're here. Nice deep diaphragmatic breathing to relax the nervous system. And then let's start ramping up for that pails contraction. So start to push foot down into the floor. You're going to feel all that tissue that you're stretching on the back of the calf start to light up and work. Push. Get yourself up to your greatest, safest effort. Push and hold 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Try to pull, lift, top of the foot towards the shin. Lift, lift, lift. Try to lean in a little bit more if you can. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension, but do not back out of the stretch. Find your breathing again. Let's calm that nervous system down and get ready for our second set on this side. Slow breath in and a slower breath out to really relax things and let your body take this new stretch. You've worked hard to get this new range of motion, so we want to make sure that we stay there, working from this new position to try to get even more with our next set. Okay, second set of pails. Ramping up that tension slowly, start to gas pedal. Foot into the floor, push. As if you were going to push your foot and your toes through the floor, get up to that greatest, safest effort and hold here for 10, 9, 8, hello calf, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch to rails, pull, top of the foot up towards the shin. Try to lean your torso forward a little more. Lift, lift, lift that foot. Shin muscle working like crazy. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension in your leg. Excellent job. Back out nice and slow. You're gonna feel the difference when you go to stand up. Let's take it to the other side. Okay, coming down. And we're gonna find that easy passive stretch. Back up a little here. So just leaning the torso onto your leg as you lean forward, keeping that heel down. You should start to feel that stretch in the back of the ankle, back of the calf. Again, if you have pain in the front of the ankle, that is a closing angle joint pain. Do not push through this stretch. You would want to work with a specialist to iron out that joint issue so that you can reap the benefits of this kind of ankle mobility work. And our ankles get really jammed up. We use them a lot, but we don't focus a lot of our efforts on strengthening and on mobilizing. So if you're like me and you've rolled your ankle in the past and had an ankle sprain, you know, a lot of times when we're healing, the body will make all kinds of compensations, and then we just walk on that or run on that and live life on that every single day. So sometimes we have to go back and really do this rehabilitative kind of work. Slow breath in through the nose. Long exhale out of the mouth. Soften your shoulders here. Really just use your body weight to deepen this stretch. And let's get into our first set of pails. So irradiating, big breath in. Start to gas pedal that foot into the floor. Working your way up to your greatest, safest effort. Push, push, push. When you get there, hold. 10 seconds. Pushing. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails. Pull. Top of the foot towards the shin. Lift. As if you were going to lift that foot off the floor. See if you can lean into it a little bit more. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften out of that stretch slowly, but do not back out. Find your deep diaphragmatic breathing again. And relax. Give that nervous system a little bit of rest before our last set of pails and rails. Okay, second set. Breath in, pack that air down into your abs, and start to gas pedal foot into the floor. 20, 30, 40, 50. Work your way up as much as you can push now, and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch to rails. Pull. Top of the foot towards the shin. Try to lift, lift, lift. Get light on the floor with the ball of the foot, with the toes. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension slowly. And start to ease your way out. Oh, good work. Let's take one celebratory set of ankle cars just to get some movement. Coming back to that first leg. Pull the leg in towards your chest and easy cars. Toes in, down, out, up. At about 20 or 30% of your maximum effort here. So just nice and easy, getting some movement, and reverse. You might feel that you're able to move that ankle with a bit more ease. And switch to the other side. Toes in, down, out, up. And when you're done with this video and you get up and walk around, just notice how different things feel with your calves and your ankles. Reverse, maybe even your knees. This kind of work can have a really profound impact on how your body feels and functions throughout the rest of your day. So I hope you enjoyed this class. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.